the biggest radio station, the biggest city, you take public Monday. Hello and welcome to Cullen on Cable. Hope this day is beginning okay for you, or if it's the afternoon, hope it's going well so far. If you're seeing this on Saturday night, well, I don't know. Anyway, hi, how you doing? I'm Lynn Cullen. I make my living with my mouth, in as much as it's attached to my brainstem. Somebody who does the same is going to be joining me in just a little while. As you just heard, Fred Honsberger of KDKA. Fred's been here before, and he likes to mix it up. I am going to be the kinder and gentler talk show host today, and we'll let him be as combative as he wants. We'll take calls from you, and you get your 2 cents in too, okay? So, let's see. What do we have to do before we get to Fred? We got to do the first segment, which invariably is me carping about something or other. I like to sometimes show you something and then ask if you by any chance can tell what it is that I was looking at or listening to that got my goat or got my ear or made me wonder, made me think. And so I'm going to do that today. Let me set this up for you. I'm getting ready in the morning. I'm getting a little boy off to camp. I'm reading 5 newspapers. I'm, doing my hair to be on TV. I'm getting dressed. I'm making breakfast. I'm sort of occupied in a lot of things. And I've got the television on, the Today Show. Is trying to get a fix of that news as I'm reading. It's coming in my eyes. It's going in my ears. It's not a very pretty sight, I'll tell you, and it's all sort of disjointed. So what at any point I choose to react to, or what makes its way out of the general media jumble into my head, I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling, what day it is, who said it, or whatever. But anyway, today, there were all sorts of possibilities. George Washington might, it turns out, have fathered a child by one of his slaves, and we've got people wanting DNA testing done to prove that they are descendants of the father of our country. That seemed ripe for possible picking. The lawsuit, and the successful one at this point, class action suit by smokers against the tobacco companies, a big loss for the tobacco companies. I thought that'll always get people going. But then it was just this innocuous little story on the local cut-in. Newland Arch and all does the low cut-ins, at 7:25 or at 8:25, and then right before the hour as well, two an hour. And it was a story, but there was just some little thing that got said that I was brushing my teeth, if you want to know the truth, and I went, huh? I want to play the whole story for you right now, and I want you to tell me what made me go, huh? Okay? It might be subtle. I have no idea if I'm the only one who might know the thought, what? 333 PCNC, that's the phone number. Be ready. We call this Back Talk.
Are back to normal now. Investigators are looking for answers after the pilot of a single-engine plane makes an emergency landing on a local road. The woman pilot brought the plane down safely last night on Road 288 and Mercer Road in Franklin Township. She was not hurt. That plane took off from the Beaver County Airport.
There it is. Any ideas? I'll play it for you one more time. I want to see some phones light up here. 333 PCNC. What made me stop brushing my incisors? Because I heard something that, well,
System was okay.
Listen,
Things are back to normal.
Second chance, last chance.
Investigators are looking for answers after the pilot of a single-engine plane makes an emergency landing on a local road. The woman pilot brought the plane down safely last night on Road 288 and Mercer Road in Franklin Township. She was not hurt. That plane took off from the Beaver County Airport.
Well, you don't know, do you? I bet you don't know. I bet Fred knows. Is Fred watching this? Well, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. You either figure it out yourselves or that's the end of that. Consider it Journalism 101. My producer's guessing in my ear. Who said that, Fred? Yeah, Fred's right. See, I knew Fred would know. All right, Fred has it. I mean, he knows me well enough to know what it would be. He probably thinks that the fact that I almost choked on my, Crest toothpaste is indicative of how I get bent out of shape about things that are not particularly. It's an adjective. It was an adjective, that's all. Okay? Okay, let's see here. Jeanette, I am so glad somebody finally called in. Let's hope you're right.
It's because she's a woman pilot?
Yeah, because she said, I'm just listening to a story about, a private plane put down, and then all of a sudden she said, the woman pilot.
The woman pilot. I mean, how come? Why does it matter?
Yeah, I thought, would you ever have said the man pilot?
No.
No. So why did we hear the woman pilot?
I don't know.
Okay, me either. Thank you.
All righty. Bye.
Bye. Mary Ellen, you knew it too, huh? Mary Ellen. Hi, you there? Nah, she
yes,
gets.
I'm
Yeah.
here.
You heard it too?
Yeah.
It strike you as odd?
Yeah, she was. Why would they refer to her as a woman pilot? Why not just a pilot?
The pilot. I don't know. Why? What is your guess? You don't have a guess. Here's my guess. We still, because of how new it is that women are allowed to be things that they didn't used to be allowed to do, like what I'm doing right now, sitting here mouthing off. This used to be man's work. Piloting, we still think of as, never mind that the last time I got on a 747, the pilot was a woman. It's not a big deal anymore. Why, we can hearken back to Amelia Earhart for that matter. But in our heads, and I think when you're writing a story, you're thinking, okay, I'm trying to tell a story here to people. I'm saying pilot, but they're all in their heads thinking man. Somehow I got to tell them, no, this was a woman. And so we feel the need to say woman pilot where we would never say man pilot. Not a big thing, but I think it just still shows us that while we've come a long way, baby, we got a ways to go, because there's the assumption that everything, the norm is male. And so if it's a female, it has to be noted somehow. There are ways of doing it, by the way, where you don't call attention to it quite so much, where you simply drop a she. Instead of saying the pilot is unhurt, or the woman piloting the plane, that wouldn't be quite as bad as woman pilot, was unhurt, or something like that. We all do it, but it struck me this morning, so there you have it. The woman pilot. Anyway, she wasn't hurt. All right, that's it. Thank you. You won. And Fred Honsberger coming by in, I'd say, 2 minutes. Okay? Hope you stay tuned. We'll be back. We'll be back, I think I meant to say.
Cullen on Cable is sponsored in part by Highfield Open MRI, located at the Green Tree exit off the Parkway West.
I'm commiserating with my guess, because I think they're working them too hard over there at the blowtorch. I do. Last week I happened to. I don't mean to imply that I'm not listening to my own radio station. I like to check the competition out. And you're doing the morning.
Mornings, afternoons, yeah.
And you're doing the afternoons. That's a lot.
Yeah, well, but I like,
You're on salary, I bet, too, so you don't get paid anymore for that.
Yeah, but I'm doing okay. I'm never going to complain about that.
I'll complain for you.
No.
You couldn't hire somebody to come in for vacation relief?
No, well, they want me to fill in for John, which I like doing, which is nice because it's better than working with him. I did that already. Oh, I'm kidding. Oh, please. No, we did that. All right, and it doesn't work. So I fill in for John, but I don't want to be gone from my own show. You know,
You want it all, don't
I do.
you?
I want it all. I love my job.
There you are, typical baby boomer. You want it all.
I love my job.
Spoiled. Yeah. You want this, and then you want more of that, and then you probably want my job too.
No, I wouldn't. No. You do the same thing. You're here. You do this, then you go do the radio
That's true,
thing.
and I keep complaining to
What's the big
everybody
deal?
that it's too much. I got to drop something, and yet I don't let anyone.
The only bad thing is that to do the John show, to do the morning show, you got to wake up at 2:30 in the morning.
Bad.
So you wake up at 2:30 in the morning, you come in the station by 3:30, and you read all the stuff that you read because you have to know what you're talking about before people wake up. So they think, wow, he's really smart. I just read the newspaper before you did.
That's all you do.
And then,
Just stay 1 page ahead of you. That's all.
exactly all you need.
You're on page 3, we're on page 4. That's
and
it.
then you're off at 9 o'clock. Go back to the office, sleep in a couple hours, and then
You really do? You sleep in
Then you
there?
get ready for the afternoon show. Then you go home,
Well, you're a hard worker.
watch Seinfeld, and go to bed.
Here you have it.
And that's that.
Watch Seinfeld and go to bed.
Yeah, reruns.
Oh, you like that show?
Oh, I love that show.
I hated that.
Well, good figures. You know, and the reason it was a woman pilot, you know, as soon as you played it, I knew there was a problem, and you were going to be, you know, they don't think that women can fly planes. No, the fact was that the anchor woman, which was a woman, it was a woman reading the story. She probably wrote the story.
Maybe.
We want to let you know that it was a woman who was able to land that plane safely on, and that no man could probably do that.
It was a plus.
That's exactly right. See, it was a woman who was able to land this plane without anybody getting hurt.
That's cool. But you have to admit, you would never hear a story in which they said the man pilot.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't even say, it sounds so bizarre.
because everybody thinks it. It's
right.
still surprising, and I don't know why it should surprise you, and it's not a bigotry thing or a sexist thing. It's just unusual still.
I agree. We consider it unusual. We still all have these images in our head that every profession, it's a man.
That's right.
Right?
Now, last time I flew a plane and there was a woman up in the cockpit, I went, wow, cool.
Yeah, you think it's cool.
It's all
but
right.
It is
then
unusual.
it's a little sexy. I'm going, I like the uniform. That's okay. The hat goes all right. So then I go back to Neanderthal. See, I'm all right.
I was noting the other day, remember stewardesses? Because they don't exist anymore. There's
Flight attendants.
Flight attendants. Remember when stewardesses, you know, you see, I'm annoyed at the airlines.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm really
Why
annoyed
is that?
at the airlines. Do you know that Americans are getting bigger? You know that?
Oh, you have to tell me.
Okay, we're wider, we're taller, we got longer legs.
Yeah.
You been on a plane lately?
The new
They're
Airbuses. The new Airbuses are the smallest plane I've ever been on. I was on, and I have found in my personal experience that the bigger the plane, the smaller the seats inside. I was on this L1011 once. I was doing something for the company, and there was this small Asian guy in the chair. It was like a 2-seat thing, and I'm next to the window. I said, "Excuse me," and I'm all over him. I'm all over this poor guy. He goes, "I'm not flying 6 hours like this." He got up and disappeared. I don't know where he went.
You probably sat in the bathroom.
It's okay. I put the armrest up. I had the whole thing to myself. It was okay. But I mean, I understand the poor guy was.
But I mean, they charge you more.
Yeah.
They cram you in. You don't even have. But you cannot even sit.
No.
And then on top of it, they've taken the food away too.
Get the exit row. The food was never that good, Lynn.
The
The food was never that good.
stewardesses aren't good looking anymore. Isn't that true?
No, I don't notice that.
Oh, baloney.
I honestly don't even look. Not even. I don't notice that. Sit in the exit row. The exit row has more leg room. Exit row or the bulkhead.
I understand, but they're taken right away because people like you get them
That's
faster.
exactly
I don't know.
like
That's
me.
what happens.
And then the exit row or bulkhead, or the best way is try to find a way to get up front.
Oh, yeah. Now, how do you do that?
You just go up. And you should have no problem with this because you're on television. I'm on radio.
I'm not going to use
You just
that.
say no. You don't even use it.
Oh, you just sort of
say to the
make your-
person, say, "Is there any room up front?"
I can't do that.
That's all. Is there any room up front?
I can't do that.
And you know, the last time I was traveling, I forget, it was a company trip. Any room up front? Well, it's full right now, but we'll see what happens. You know, right now it's full. So we go and we sit down in our seat, and the camera right up front.
So just ask.
Is there any? Well, and it works sometimes, and then. And it usually works in Pittsburgh where the people know you. But you're coming back, I said, is there any room up front? Yeah, and how are you going to pay for this? I wasn't going to pay for it. I just want to know if you're going to give me something up front. I mean, you got the seat up there. Nobody's
Why
using
not?
it.
Yeah.
Why not? Because you know what's going to happen? You're going to have the flight full. You're going to be asking for volunteers. And some person on standby is going to be up front because that's the only seat we have left in the plane.
Why not
So
me?
why not give it to me because I asked for it first?
You got chutzpah.
Oh, no. Is there any room up front? And all they can do is say no.
Speaking of chutzpah, it's made its way into that word, Yiddish word, made its way into the Post-Gazette today in Brian O'Neill's column.
What was he talking about?
Dennis Casey. excuse us for a minute. This is slightly inside politics, I think. Is that the funniest story you ever heard in your life?
Dennis is, I don't know about Dennis.
Well, now, if you had, I mean, Brian was wondering the same thing, which is what you probably wondered. Let's say you had $3,000. You knew it was in this guy's apartment, and the guy might have crack. I mean, if you knew the $3,000 was found with some crack cocaine, wouldn't you let the $3,000 go? You would come forward.
Not
and
if
say,
you need
it.
Dennis is a strange guy. I mean, he's a crazy guy. I'm not sure I've gotten a handle on Dennis. Dennis has called me twice. Once during the campaign when I called Larry Dunn Larry Dumb, and he called me to thank me for standing up for him. And I said, you know what, Larry? I don't know who told you what, but I didn't do that. And he goes, well, then you're a son of a... okay, that's fine. And then I made a comment last week about Dennis, and he called me again for defending him. Dennis, I didn't defend you, okay? I don't know what your friends are telling you, or I have no idea. I mean, I didn't really take you down. I just said, what's going on here? It's a strange little... I'm not so
Well,
sure.
read O'Neill's column today. It is a riot. Even Manning not recusing himself.
Manning should have recused himself. Manning should have recused himself. Yeah,
he says Manning gave Casey his $3,000 faster than Mayor Murphy hands out tax incremental
absolutely.
financing.
Absolutely. It's
And to make the story complete, Larry Dunn was there at the end looking confused.
Larry always looks confused. Deer in the headlights. That's Larry Dunn.
Well, I'll tell you, it's I was going to say cohort, but that's not true. That would imply that we work together.
We'd probably do better in the morning than me and Signet.
You and I?
Cullen and Hans and Cullen in the morning.
You can
if that wouldn't wake people up, I don't know what would.
Well, it might wake them up, but it would send them reeling into their day.
You see, I want to tell you something. You know that when Signet and I did that morning show together, we blew out the ratings.
You did.
Even in the coveted 25
what
to 54.
What does that say about people?
Even in the coveted 25 to 54.
That show stunk.
We blew away
Cullen,
and we blew away Cullen.
Shut up.
No, we blew away Paulson and Kren.
Here, I'm going to stick
I don't
my
have one of
earpiece
those.
Well, I'm going to stick it in so he can scream in your ear.
I'm sorry.
What good does it do to scream in my ear when he's the one who's talking and you can't shut him up?
My job.
I knew this was going to be a day like this. Two loudmouths. Okay. Don't look at my little cheat sheet here. I'm not telling you what we're talking about. I'm just doing it off the top of my... We'll be back in just a bit. You can call if you want.
The official transportation provider of Cullen on Cable is Pittsburgh Limousine, the one clear choice in transportation.
We're talking to Fred. Fred's on vacation this week, so who's doing your show?
I don't know. Don't know, don't care.
Give me a...
I don't know. It's either Mike Romeyer or Rob Pratt. It could be both of them. Usually Mike does a few days and then Rob does a couple days.
I like Rob Pratt.
Rob's a nice guy.
He's the very nice guy and the hardest working guy I know.
Yeah.
And he's good looking.
Oh, I'll tell him.
Well, don't you think he's good looking?
I never look at it that way, Lynn.
What is it? I say there aren't any good looking stewardesses anymore. You say, I don't know.
I look at women, but I don't look at men that way. I mean, I couldn't tell you whether
Well, you're human beings. I can appreciate a good-looking woman or a good-looking man. A human being who is appealing to the eye.
Yeah, okay.
You don't like looking at like a good-looking man?
No. I just went and saw Ideal Husband.
Yeah, and who's in that?
Rupert Murdoch.
He's good looking.
And my wife and her friend are like, goo, goo, goo. I said, he's gay. Well, I don't care.
No, it wouldn't matter.
I don't care. What do you mean it doesn't matter?
All the best-looking men are gay. It is the women.
And then you try to turn them, right? I said, so what are you going to do, try to turn them?
Hey, have you seen me on a bus?
Okay, I have seen you on too many buses.
I saw me on a bus. I was behind a bus the other day, and there was my picture on the bus, and somebody had defaced it.
Oh, is that right? I haven't seen the defacing.
Oh, it was funny. And they had scrawled liberal.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, did you do that?
No, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. No.
Doesn't matter.
I saw Doug's picture. He looks like Phil Music on those pictures. Not a good picture of Doug.
No, it's not a good picture of me either. Neither
I think it's a good picture.
No, I think we look like
I was attracted to it.
Anyway, okay, so.
The flight attendant thing, I'm sorry. What? What do you want to talk about?
So you were saying, I was saying, it's the dog days of summer. There's nothing to talk about. And you said, just my luck. I keep reading the paper.
Today.
And finding things you want to talk about, and you don't have a show. So here it is.
Well, it's the cigarette thing. The cigarette thing, whatever. It drives you crazy. It drives me crazy. It drives me crazy that everybody is a victim. Everybody's blaming somebody for something. It's my fault. You smoked. You knew smoking was bad. Everybody in the world, everybody in the planet knows that smoking is bad and can kill you. And now all of a sudden.
But if it's provable that the companies that made the cigarettes knowingly withheld information.
Like what?
that they knew it was damaging.
Everybody knows it's damaging.
We know it now. Aren't they talking about?
When I was
they're talking
growing up,
about
I'm
20 years
48
ago.
years old, and when I was 28 years old, I knew that cigarettes would kill you. Okay? 20 years ago. Let's take it 25 years ago. I was 23 years old.
So
when I was
there's no
16 years
liability
old.
on the part of the manufacturer?
No,
or the
there's
marketing?
no liability.
None.
I mean, the product is legal. If it's bad, make it illegal. Making it illegal is not going to make it go away.
But other products, I mean, there's a recall, front page of the paper today, recall of child safety seats. People who manufacture things have a responsibility, right? That they're.
If you make something if a child safety seat is a child safety seat, and we find out.
And a cigarette, as we know, is a
cancer stick.
Is a
Cancer stick. We know that you'll die. We know, and I saw 60 Minutes piece, it was a rerun, and I saw it the original time it went too. I think this is the biggest, instead of saying Surgeon General says smoking causes cancer, or instead of Surgeon General smoking causes emphysema, if you really play up the fact that smoking causes impotence, I don't think another guy would pick up a cigarette.
that's the way to do it.
But it really does. So, I mean,
and for women, you'll say, smoking makes your breasts smaller. The sales to all those teenage girls who are smoking would plummet.
Yeah, well. So
smoking gives you thunder thighs. Oh, I'll stop immediately.
So I have a hard time. I have a hard time with people suing McDonald's because the coffee was too hot. I mean, what do you expect? If you're going to put it between your knees and you're in a car, you're stupid. You're just stupid, and you ought to be sued for being stupid. All right, and you ought to be. You're dying right now. You made the choice earlier on to smoke, and now you're dying. Don't blame the cigarette companies. Right. It's a legal product.
This is why George W. Bush is trying to distance himself from other conservatives like you by saying he has compassion.
Compassionate conservatism. I don't think he's addressed the smoking issue. I think he's addressed which is another issue here, the poor issue and the issue of I was just listening. I mean, the African American Workers Union is going to be picketing today. They're still upset that there are not enough blacks taking part in the jobs over here in the North Side, building the stadiums and the ballpark.
And why are you saying that with this weary
Well, I'm saying this because last week, in the newspaper last week, it has been shown that over here, the Manchester Craftsman Guild will train you free. Will give you training for a job free.
Yeah, but if you're a construction worker and there's all these construction jobs, why shouldn't you expect that there's jobs out there?
Oh, there are jobs out there, but you have to.
The building trades are racist.
Excuse me. You have to be skilled. And they'll take you,
but
and they'll train you.
But I think they're saying they have these skilled workers.
No. If you looked at the record, if you looked at the story, there were, and I don't want to get the numbers wrong. There were 200. There were 2,000 notices went out. 200 people showed up. Nobody stuck it out because it was too hard. I have to wake up too early. What do you mean I have to be here every day? Oh, and I flugged the drug test. Drug test, no drugs, no alcohol. You can't be a drunk. You can't be a drug user. Oh, I can't do that. It's just like, and I've used this story several times. It's an awful picture, and a couple of years ago, the picture was in the Post-Gazette of homeless people camped out on top of probably one of the best grates in the city of Pittsburgh.
You know the grates of the city?
Probably one of the best grate in the city of Pittsburgh because it's right next to the Salvation Army. Because the grate is the vent for the pool they have in the basement of the Salvation Army. So that's warm, moist air. That's great. In the wintertime, that's the best place. And here's the picture in the Post-Gazette, the Salvation Army Divisional Headquarters and homeless people sleeping underneath the sign. And people are saying, how could this be? How could the Salvation Army let these people stay out there? Now, this is compassionate conservatism. The fact is that the Salvation Army wouldn't go out there and say, come on in and lay down, we'll let you sleep in here. That's not compassionate, and that's not helping the folks at all. It doesn't help them because it doesn't help them get out of the situation they're in. They say, we have a bed for you, and we'll even help you get back on your feet, and we'll help you get a job. We have a bed for you right now. You got to stop drinking, and you got to get off drugs. Oh, we don't want to do that. We'll stay here in the grate.
Fred Honsberger holding forth at the moment, and usually from 3 to 6 on KDKA AM. Although he's on vacation this week.
Yeah, don't listen this week. So no, go ahead and listen anyway.
Don't bother. Call somebody. You going to just let him say all these things?
Nasty things. All these nasty things.
This non-empathetic human being here.
Yeah.
He's tough. We'll be back.
Don't give handouts to panhandlers.
Telling you he's a meanie. We're talking here. He's a meanie. He says, let him die. I say you got it. Yes, you did.
No. Well, if they're not going to help yourself...
if you've got somebody who won't help themselves...
Yeah, and is mentally fit and mentally able to.
Well, how do you determine that? I think if you won't help yourself, you're not mentally fit. We have an obligation, those of us who've got our act together to help them. You're too worried that they're going to get something for nothing.
I'm not worried.
Cares?
I'm not worried about it. I'm worried that too many people now think they're going to get something for nothing. Too many people who smoke cigarettes, to go back to that, are going to get something for nothing.
We all get something for nothing. What, we get something for being in debt, right? You can write off the debt on the mortgage.
Not anymore. On the mortgage,
yes,
but not
on
your
the
credit
mortgage.
cards.
But I mean, I know they took some of it away. We all have this sense of entitlement that we get. We feel entitled to this and to that.
Not entitled to anything. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence doesn't guarantee you happiness.
No,
it guarantees you that you can pursue happiness.
Yeah.
But it doesn't guarantee you a
I
job.
agree
It
with
doesn't
that,
guarantee. Well, but then you want to give everything to everybody. I
don't want to give. I just want to make sure people have a reasonable level of, I want them to be fed and clothed and sheltered. I don't think that's...
I mean, there are a couple of guys. There's one guy, we call him Robinson Crusoe, and he looks like that. You see him walking through town sometimes, and he looks like Robinson Crusoe. And he absolutely refuses help, and he refuses...
So you think he's in his right mind?
No, he's not in his right mind. And there are a group of doctors, and again, some people in the Salvation Army that go down there and make sure these guys are all right.
I know.
And I have no problem with that.
Those are the best
and that's
people
fine.
in the world.
Absolutely, because those people are doing something no one else would do.
That's right. They are better, our moral superiors.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We got calls.
Oh, okay. I can handle it.
You ready to be fed to the...
Will I hear them? I don't need a little thing in my ear like you have?
No, it'll come off right behind you. You'll hear
technology.
it. Absolutely, I think.
Wonderful thing.
You don't want this thing in your ear because then you get my producer screaming at me.
Okay.
Crazy. Joanne.
Yes.
Hi. I didn't mean to scream at you. Hi, Joanne.
You're not screaming. I agree with him totally.
You agree with this guy?
Yes, I do.
And so you're not a very compassionate person either, huh?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. If you have a mental deficiency or there's something wrong with you, yes, you should get help. But if you're just plain lazy, the heck with you.
The heck with you. Okay, so let's say if the just plain lazy person is the just plain lazy, disgusting. I mean, I know there are people like this, but it's a woman, let's say, and she's got 6 children.
Back to the woman.
Okay, let's say it's a woman with 6 children.
6 children.
And 5 different husbands, and they're gone or whatever. Let's contract. So now what do you do?
But Lynn, they know what causes children. They don't have to do that.
So you've got the children. What do? The children now suffer?
No.
Accident of birth.
The children could be taken care of. There are agencies to take care of the children.
So you take the children away from her?
If she is a lazy,
she's got 5 children,
all she knows how to do is, you know...
But then what happens? So if she dies, you don't feel... What? Dies for lack of food or shelter? Why are you
The kids will probably be better off. I'll tell you, we all make choices in our life. I didn't have my children until I was married 15, 16 years. And part of that reason was
you couldn't afford it.
I couldn't afford it. I don't want to be I don't want to be having to drag the kids here and there if I have to move. I want to make sure that I'm financially okay before I can have children.
Right.
And that is the responsible way to, but some people think, oh, we're married, boom, we can't afford it, it's okay, we're going to have a kid, we're going to have 2, we're going to have 3. Oh, I don't have enough money, oh, I can't have insurance, I have no insurance, you know I have no insurance and I have to work and my husband has to work just to keep up the rent payment. Well, they made some bad choices. And don't expect to be bailed out by the government. Mount Washington, I went nuts when we had the tornado on Mount Washington. Oh, there's some people, they have no insurance. Oh, so what's now?
But insurance is cheap.
Insurance is cheap, but I don't want to get insurance. And now my house is destroyed, so now the government's got to help me. And I'm not, you know what? I would probably donate to an organization that would help people who didn't have insurance or would help homeless people. But you don't want your tax dollars. I don't want the government doing that.
Okay, all right, okay, all right, okay. I'm not going to battle either of you.
Oh, please. All right. We just differ. We're just different, that's all. We're different people.
Thank God.
Well, I know.
Well, you don't want everybody the same.
No, you don't. It would really be boring.
Yeah.
Dittos, Hans. I hate that. You know, I really do.
I hope so.
I do.
Although, I mean, I get a lot of people listening to me say, I agree with everything you say, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
That's what I do. I don't even agree with all the things that I say.
I hear myself saying things, and I think...
The best thing that can happen, people come and say, you know, I don't agree with everything, but I like listening to you. That's perfect.
Exactly.
That's
right. Hey, is this Alan? Alice.
Yes.
Sorry, I just gave you a sex change operation. Okay, Alice.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Well, I agree with Fred.
Everybody agrees with Fred.
Well, I'll tell you, too many people expect the government to do this for me, do that for me, get me this.
Okay, so what kind of government money do you have coming in, Alice? You got Social Security,
Yes,
you got
I do.
Medicare?
Yes, I do.
All right, you expect that? You feel entitled to
Well,
that?
I put into it, so I expect something.
You've gotten a heck of a lot more than you put in.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's
Now I'm not going to
right.
get Alice to turn away from me.
Now, listen, you aren't going to agree with him. You say that's exactly right?
Yeah, we got to get rid of Social Security. Not for the people who have it now. Alice, yours should be safe, but...
Just because she thinks she's entitled to it.
But yeah, but
No.
you put in a lot more than you're getting. I'm paying for you. I'm paying for you. I'm paying for my parents. I'm paying for everybody's old people.
But we paid for our parents.
Well,
From the sound of your voice, I'm not so sure you did.
yeah, because Social Security only started...
Well, I just got out of the hospital,
Left
so
you out.
my voice.
Oh, okay. You sound older than you really are. All right. But I just think it's human nature to perceive that somebody else is getting more. You know how when you're a kid and somebody's pouring the Kool-Aid or the milk, it's like, did he get more? I mean, you're measuring.
Yeah,
and I just think, I think, Alice doesn't recognize when she's getting something from the government, and yet.
But she said I put into it, I worked hard, and I contributed. And under the rules, she's exactly right. She's getting what she expected to get.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get that in Social Security.
Okay.
Because we'll be lucky if it's there. I'd rather have that money. Take a look at your paycheck and see how much money.
I see it.
Wouldn't you really rather have that and put it into invest it yourself?
Probably, but that is because, but that's
people would
because
make
you're capable and I'm capable.
But
there's
people would
all
make bad choices.
Millions of them would make bad choices.
So the government has to be there to protect them.
Yeah.
Oh.
The greater good, the common welfare.
Oh, stay away.
Thinks I'm a communist.
Socialist, at least.
Socialist, at least. Just care about everybody.
So it
Can't
counts
we
as a
all just be
communist.
nice to each other and love each other?
Yeah, let's
I'll
all
be
get
back.
along.
Let's get along. Hello, here I am, the liberal talkmeister in town, Lynn Cullen, and here he is, the less than compassionate talkmeister in town, Fred Honsberger. But no apologies from him, and no apologies.
What's that? I can never remember when I have to remember it. Give a person a fish and you feed them for a day, teach them to fish, and they feed themselves for a lifetime.
Well, I think it's a wonderful quote, and it's true.
That is true, and that's I think the real definition of conservative.
Well, then maybe we need to spend our tax dollars on more programs in which we help these people.
I would like to see.
You don't want to help them at all.
Look at today. Look, I mean, there are jobs out there. I saw. See, I'm telling you, I saw these things in the paper. They got some inmate, some ex-con who doesn't even have a high school diploma. They need people to work so badly. This guy's making $12 an hour because the company needs. It was in the paper over the weekend or last week. It's unbelievable. This week. $12 an hour because there are jobs that they cannot fill. So I don't want to hear anybody call my program, so I can't get a job. Well, you're not trying.
Okay.
You might not get, well, you're making a lot of money. Yeah, I always have. They sent me out to Burger King in the back because the trash guy didn't come. This is a true story. In the back, because the dumpster was overflowing. Get out there. They put a wooden plank down there. I was the heaviest guy in the crew. Get out there and stomp on the garbage.
Is that what you had to do?
Well, I wasn't complaining. I had a good time.
Dumpster stomper.
I had a good time. Didn't bother me. I didn't complain. But, I mean, that wasn't a real high-paying job.
No, I've had a few myself.
Yeah.
This is Greg. Greg, say hi to the uncompassionate Fred Honsberger.
Please.
Hi, Lynn. How you doing?
I'm fine.
I wanted to say hi to Fred, and
hey, Greg.
I'm a big fan. I wanted to ask you a question. When you had the morning show with Cigna,
yeah.
It seemed like two first-round draft choices, two kings, if you will, together at one time.
As John would say, two oak trees.
It just seemed to me as a listener, and like I said, I've listened to you for a long time.
Yeah.
You two, and I wanted to ask you this for a long time, did you two seem to be at each other's throats at times? It seemed to be like two gigantic egos, and it seems like off the radio, you two would be great friends. But when you were in that situation, what did you think, and what do you think of him?
Oh, John, I love John. That's absolutely true. John is a fantastic talent. We've worked together ever since I started KDK Radio more than 20 years ago, because I did news for his talk show at nighttime. And then when Jack Bogan made the mistake of leaving the station, his mistake, John and I worked together in the mornings, not the same capacity. I did the news and he did the show. Neither one of us wanted to be thrust into that situation. At times, we look back, at times some of the things behind the scenes were just comical. And someday it'll make a great movie.
How long did that go on?
A year.
It just was a year.
Yeah.
I used to tune in.
Seemed like forever.
I used to tune in because it was so funny to just feel the tension between the two of them. So, I mean, what the caller was feeling is, I mean, I think
we'd have the same thing before. He would say yellow fog lights are better than white fog lights. Well, who cares? But we'd have a huge discussion, and it was two, as John put it, two oak trees, and we both have our own talents and strengths, and teaming us up was, you got to have a natural, and we do have a natural chemistry, but not in that role. Not one.
It was a mistake.
Yeah, not in that role. Although,
you
again,
still have nightmares
ratings.
about it?
No,
you wake up
I don't.
screaming in the morning.
We laugh about
your
it.
Wife. Really,
we laugh about it because John's on vacation and I'll go in, and he was trying to book somebody and I'm booking somebody for the show. I said, "Well, are you booking for my show?" He goes, "Oh, my show, my show. We're doing my show already. I'm on vacation." No, neither one of us wanted that to happen. And when management, program director went off, the new program director said, "This never was, never should be.
Let's stop."
And stop it. Yeah.
But I bet eventually you're going to end up there in the morning.
Could be. I don't know. Wherever they want me, I serve.
You know? Yeah.
I like the afternoon gig.
He's a good trooper, I'll tell you.
The afternoon gig is great because I can sleep as late as I want, and then I get to stay up late and watch the satellite. And
life is good.
It is good.
And he's on vacation. Jason, hello.
Better.
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, I got a question about the Social Security.
Okay.
Okay, I totally agree with Fred that they should get rid of Social Security because I see everybody in the morning. You know, I talked to a couple of my friends and they all get paychecks from, Social Security because they're a little bit funny in the head.
They get SSI disability is what you're saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
They totally need to get rid of that because half these people that act like they're stupid know a little bit. And, they be working. They be collecting the check and working.
So you want to, now wait, Jason, let me get this straight. So you want to take the Social Security away from orphans and the disabled?
No, not
he's going to make you look like Mother Teresa in a second. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think they're all malingerers.
Yeah.
All right. Jason, how old are you?
20.
Do you get SSI,
right.
Jason? No, he doesn't.
No.
Jason,
no,
I hope
I work.
Jason, just for you. You're 20 years old just because of you. I hope Social Security sticks around forever. I want you, Jason, when you're 40 and 50, I want you paying for my retirement.
Hey, I'll gladly pay for it.
Well, thanks, Jason. You're a good kid. I appreciate it.
And I was
wonderful?
See, we talked about. I don't know if we talked about this in the break, but down in Monroeville and even downtown, they've now stationed homeless people downtown, especially right outside of our station, because they probably think, well, these high-paid broadcasting people.
What? Oh, all these compassionate conservatives that work at KDK will give us money?
Homeless, or they hold a cardboard sign that says homeless or homeless vet, God bless. And they've got new tennis shoes on, and the jeans are real clean. They're too clean to be homeless. I don't believe they're homeless.
You ever heard of a laundromat?
I don't believe they're I don't believe they're homeless.
Somebody might have given them $1. They went
clean shaven. If you're homeless, you got to have a scruffy beard. You got to have a scruffy beard. You got to look dirty. I'm sorry. Those people are cleaning up. Figure it out. If you get $100 a day, and that's the low end.
The world is black and white and
I'm telling you.
In cartoon colors. The homeless all look a certain way.
Not all of them, but these guys are looking too clean to be homeless.
God forbid you're homeless and have a new pair of shoes.
That's right.
Don't you dare.
Not getting anything from me.
All right. Hey, 333 PCNC. Don't look at your watch. You bored?
Time's going fast.
All right.
It always goes fast when I'm on the show with you. I could stay here forever.
Yeah, well, I got to go in 10 minutes. We'll be back. He thinks he knows it all. I'll tell you.
I just have my opinions. Get out of here.
Fred Honsberger. He intimately involved with Hillary Clinton to the point where he knows why she stays with Bill Clinton.
She stayed with the slime ball because it's because of what she's doing right now.
We were just saying it's possible this woman's going to end up in the Senate, and I see another Clinton run for the White House at some point down the road.
If she makes it to the Senate, she's got to get past Rudy Giuliani, and I think this is good because when people attacked Hillary Clinton before, I think it was fair during health care because she was the point woman on health care. But otherwise, she had no... she had nothing to do with policy. She wasn't elected to do anything. She was the first lady. That's it. Shut up. And I'm sorry, that's the role. Man or woman, that's the role. If Elizabeth Dole gets elected, Bob Dole's is going to sit around and pump Viagra out to people. And that's about it. But her role now she's coming out. Now she's saying, I stand for this. I stand. So she's fair game. And she's doing a really great job early. I mean, she's saying the right things. Well, but as soon as she comes out and pulls a Lynn Yackel, which is...
she ain't going to pull it.
When she pulls the Lynn Yackel, when she's in Juniata County and starts calling, I like all the people of Juanita County to help me.
She won't.
This is a woman who wanted to be a senator. I couldn't even know what county she was in.
This is a woman, Lynn Yackel, who I interviewed on my radio show. And my assumption was, of course, I would be voting for her. 1 hour with Lynn Yackel. Man, I thought, good Lord, that's who the Democrats put up. I can't.
What was it, Lynn Yackel, Specter? Was she going against
Specter?
Oh.
I voted for Specter.
Well, I figured you voted for Specter. I get so honked off at Arlen Specter sometimes.
I know you do.
Did I tell you the time I sat in the car at the Republican convention and I interviewed him? I was doing a radio interview with him. He said, you got to interview me in the car. Yeah, okay, fine. So I get to ride in the limo with him to wherever he's going and find my own way back. So I'm interviewing him and we're talking about Anita Hill and how good I thought it was that he asked the questions that had to be asked. And he said, well, I'm really sorry I asked them. I went, what? He said, yeah, you know, I talked to a lot of women afterwards, and I really didn't know what I was... Oh, I'm saying, you are folding like an accordion for crying out loud.
He grew
nothing.
Capable of growth.
He was protecting his politics.
Oh, brother.
His political behind.
All right. Talk to George. You're starting to annoy me.
Okay, let me annoy George.
All right. George, you talk to him.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi.
Fred. Hey, I've never called a talk show in my life before.
Well, good for you.
And I've been in Pittsburgh all my life. But I had to call and see, especially Fred's opinion on this parking at shopping centers, in particular the handicap. Now, I can live with the handicap parking, but recently I'm finding more and more signs are creeping up for women who are pregnant.
Expectant mothers.
Yes, expectant mothers.
And then
the latest one I'm seeing now is now women who have little children as well. I was up at Walmart recently. I couldn't find any place to park at all. Here I finally found a spot. It said for expectant mothers. I pulled out, drove around a little more, found another spot, and now it's for women with little children. When are they finally going to have a parking space for overweight middle-class white men?
When are they going to have a parking space for men with little children? I was hauling my guy. I was hauling my women with children.
Well, then that's a sexist sign.
I don't have a problem with expectant mothers. By the way, George, whether you know it or not, I have a handicap placard.
Do you?
And I use it, baby.
How do you?
He doesn't have 10 toes.
I have 8 toes. I have 8 toes. 8.
Oh,
so I'm qualified, and I hang that puppy, and everybody wants to go shopping with me, especially at Christmas time, because I get the best spots. And they're good spots, I'll tell you.
So, you know, get a toe cut off, you too can have a handicap. You know, my child was asking if we couldn't get a handicap thing, because he says, those are always the best spaces. I said, but you don't want to do what you have to. People who have those have a disability.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what really steams me. Is when there's a really great spot at the Giant Eagle or at the shopping mall. There's a great spot, and it's not handicapped.
Yeah.
And somebody with a handicap placard puts in there. And I'm saying, you got the good spot right over there. What are you doing taking my spot?
That's a good point.
And I really get steamed about that. I get steamed about the people
That's a good point.
at the grocery store. You go in, there's nobody in the line. Some guy with 5 items gets in line in front of you. You've got the line down there that says 12 items or less. Go down there. I want to get here.
You a type A personality?
Oh, no.
Jeez, calm down. I'll give you a Prozac. It's okay. We're done. That did go fast. You come by more often. Here's a Prozac. Here.
Oh, thanks. Viagra? Oh.
No, actually, wait, that's something else. I forget. Where are my Prozacs? He could use them. It'll destroy his ratings, too.
It'll calm me down too much.
Here, take one of these.
He's giving me drugs on the air.
Fred Honsberger, hear him from 3 to 6, but not this week. KDK, you know that other stuff.
Next week, morning and afternoon.
Morning and afternoon. He's going to do double duty. Still kissing behinds up there at Westinghouse. I mean, CBS. What do I know? You have to keep...
CBS.
Hope you find someone to talk to in your day, and if not, follow me over to the radio side, 1360 AM Talk Radio in Pittsburgh.